hearing loss have always suffered from the hearing aid effect. People do not want to show that they have a hearing loss or that they're using a hearing aid device. In the 1800s, all hearing aids were mechanical. They gave the same effect as cupping your hands around your ears would. They simply aided in collecting more sound and directing it to the ear.
Acoustic headbands were worn like a pair of headphones over the head or around the neck. This was a discreet way to have hearing aids in the early 1800s. There were different styles. For females, acoustic headbands could be hidden as flowers or shells. For males, the most popular type was the barrel headband, which had fabric on either sides of the earpiece, which could blend into hair or a hat.
This is an image of an acoustic fan. Now, like regular ear trumpets, it worked the exact same way, except it was disguised differently. The fan part of it collected sound and brought it over to the small ear trumpet, which one would put to their head.
Along with the air conduction fans, bone conduction fans, known as audiophones and dentophones, were used as well. With bone conduction fans, one must bite down in order to have vibrations sent through the teeth and skull to enhance their hearing. Acoustic chairs were a clever example of incorporating a hearing device within an everyday object. King VI of Portugal had an acoustic chair that he used. In order to use it, people had to kneel at his feet and speak into the arm of the chair, which would direct the sound into a tube that was connected to the chair. He would then hold the tube up to his ear to have the sound amplified. The water canteen receptor, as shown here, was a hearing aid which was disguised as a water canteen, which one had to wear whilst holding the sound tube to their ear and completing whatever task they were doing. This is the beard receptacle. Its purpose was to amplify sound while being hidden by a man's beard. It was recommended that the user wear a scarf in order for the hearing aid to stay in place on the wearer. As there was a beard receptacle for the man, there was also a hair receptacle for the female. This was a hearing aid which was worn on top of the head and disguised by women's big hair or bangs. It amplified the sound just as the beard receptacle did for the man. This is an example of the acoustic cane. The handle was hollowed out to collect the sound. An earpiece was unfolded from the handle when in use. The men would rest it on their shoulder when listening to someone speak. The handle would collect the sound and direct it into the ear through the earpiece. When done having conversation, the earpiece would fold back underneath the cane, and men would have a walking stick. For women, this could be hidden in an umbrella. These are a common pair of opera glasses which served a double purpose. The handle of the opera glasses is a hearing trumpet. Therefore, when one was at the opera, they would hold the glasses up to their eyes, put the end of the trumpet in the ear to amplify sound. It was a discreet way to enhance your hearing while at a show. This artificial concha could be fastened to any hat or hairstyle to blend in with everyday life. This as well was used to amplify sound mechanically and direct it into the ear. At the turn of the 19th century, hearing aids shifted from being mechanical to becoming electrical. The 1892 patent for the magneto telephone for personal wear is the earliest patent known for an electrical hearing device. However, it was never manufactured. As technology grew, hearing aids made the transition from mechanical things such as hearing trumpets, which simply collected and directed sound, to electronical hearing components. This aided in true amplification of sounds. Along with the transition from mechanical to electrical, hearing aids became more easily concealed.
Hearing aids up until the 1920s were based on a telephone design invented by Alexander Graham Bell. They were usually very cumbersome and disguised as cameras or purses in order to avoid social embarrassment associated with hearing aids at the time.
This is an example of the Amplivox purse from 1925. This metal-lined leather purse contained 2 battery packs and a large microphone. The earpiece was held to the head. This was highly sensitive to hot and cold due to the carbon components inside the hearing aid.
This is a French electric camera, which is another example of a hidden carbon aid.
In the late 1920s, the creation of vacuum tubes was a major step to the evolution of today's hearing aids. Although original vacuum tubes were extremely large, they did an excellent job in amplifying electrical signals. Whenever using hearing aids with vacuum tubes, 2 batteries were required. A battery warmed the filament of the vacuum tubes, and battery B amplified the sound.
One form of hearing aid in the 1930s is called the table aid. This aid weighed in at 5 pounds and required 2 large batteries. This was designed to look like a tabletop radio.
In the 1930s and 1940s, as vacuum tubes became smaller, the first body-worn hearing aid was manufactured. This hearing aid housed a microphone and 3 vacuum tubes. However, it had a separate earpiece and separate batteries.
Body vacuum tubes were popular for all genders and ages. Now, because 2 batteries were needed for the body vacuum tubes, it became a pain to keep both those batteries together and connected. That's when battery pack holders became popular. Battery pack holders made transport even easier. By attaching the batteries to the body, one had freer movement. Body aids continued to become smaller and smaller. As battery pack technology increased, body aids were able to house a small battery along with the microphone and amplifier. So we got this.
Sighted and far-sighted people.
The ear mold will attach on to the end of the body aid, and then this part will be inserted into the ear, and you can wear this part wherever. And
It has a variety of
works.
methods for wearing.
Yep. So this was very easily concealable. In 1959, transistor glasses came to the world. They served a dual purpose: eyeglasses with a hearing aid. They came in many different styles. The downfall was that when you took off the glasses, your hearing aid came out as well. Lenses and frames were very thick. These transistor glasses were extremely popular until smaller hearing aids, like the behind-the-ear style, became more popular in the 1970s.
By the 1960s, behind-the-ear hearing aids gained popularity. It had everything that the eyeglasses transistor had, except the eyeglasses, and it had everything that the body aid had in one smaller unit. People decided that they liked this better than the transistor glasses, and this became more popular and overtook the market. This is what it looks like on the ear. This is very modern technology for the 1960s. Technology advanced, hearing aids were able to become smaller and smaller. This is an example of an early 1960s in-the-ear hearing aid. It did everything a behind-the-ear hearing aid did, except it provided more room for concealment. Hearing aid technology is still advancing. These are just a few modern examples of behind-the-ear hearing aids. The size has dramatically increased, while the performance has increased. Hearing aids do help to make things more clear. However, background noise also gets picked up by hearing aids. If someone's sitting in a classroom, a hearing aid doesn't make the speech completely clear or loud. That is when many teachers will use an FM system. A personal frequency modulation system is a speaker will wear a transmitter, which will transmit signal to a receiver on the hearing aid. Therefore, the listener has easier chance of hearing the speaker. To give you an idea of what this sounds like, this is a video showing you how an FM system works.
As we've just seen, the use of a personal FM system may be recommended. I have the FM system set so that the microphone on the student's hearing aid is still functioning. I'm going to walk 10 feet away from the microphone of the hearing aid, and as I do so, you will again notice that it becomes very difficult to understand what I am saying. When I am at the maximum distance, I will activate the teacher's FM microphone, and you should see an improvement in your ability to understand me. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack went down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. You should notice now that there is an increase in your ability to understand me with the FM microphone on. The FM microphone allows the teacher mobility so that he or she can move about the room and the student can still hear what the teacher is saying.
Technology will keep advancing, and as it does, hearing aids will become stronger, clearer, and more personalized. They have already come such a long way. This has been the evolution of hearing aids from the 1800s to present.